Now on WKRG News 5.
Presidential nominee Donald Trump was on the Gulf Coast rallying in Pensacola for the second time this year.
It's been fairly quiet along our stretch of the Gulf Coast over the last couple days, but as we turn towards tomorrow, rain coverage will start to go up. I'll explain coming up in the forecast in just a few minutes.
Plus, a new ship has officially entered the U.S. Navy fleet. And coming off a big win last week, we have all the excitement from South Alabama fans for the Jags home opener tonight.
From WKRG News 5, the Gulf Coast news leader, the news starts now.
Good evening, I'm Ashley Knight. Thank you for joining us. First on 5, South Alabama is coming off a history-making win. The Jags beat Mississippi State last weekend 21-20. Today, the Jags meet Georgia Southern at Ladd Peebles. The game kicked off just moments ago, but before the game, we got a sense of the excitement from fans, with it being the first tailgate and home game of the season.
It's like we come out here and we just relieve some stress, kick it, hang out with the boys, drink some beers, and get ready for the game. Pumps us up, get ready for the first home game of the season, gets us amped up, ready to go, cheer on our Jags.
And with things just kicking off at Ladd, we'll have more from the Jags home opener later on in the show. And more news on the Gulf Coast. Presidential nominee Donald Trump made his way to Pensacola yesterday. Trump spoke to a crowd of more than 10,000 people at the Pensacola Bay Center last night. Some waited in long lines for hours for a chance to see him. Donald Trump stepped on the stage to the roar of the crowd. News 5 had team coverage of the rally where Trump shared his love for the state of Florida.
I love this state. I love the people of this state. And together we are going to have an amazing victory on November 8th. For every part of Florida and every single part of America, from Pensacola, great place, to Pittsburgh, from Baltimore to Baton Rouge, we're fighting for every last city and every last person in the country, everybody.
And Trump went on to say he is dipping into his own fortune campaigning for president. He praised his team and says he is working to make sure their time and efforts pay off with a win.
If we don't make it, it's the greatest waste of time, energy, and money that I can ever think of. I will tell you, we don't make it.
Today, Trump is taking a moment or two away from campaigning. He spoke today at the funeral of Phyllis Schlafly. The conservative leader passed away Monday at the age of 92. Since her death, Trump has spoken highly of the political leader. He praised her efforts to reshape the conservative movement. He also expressed gratitude for her endorsement. She died one day before the release of her last book, The Conservative Case for Trump. The funeral was open to the public. Meanwhile, Hillary Clinton is attacking Trump by way of his supporters. She used strong language at an LGBT fundraiser in New York Friday night.
To just be grossly generalistic, you could put half of Trump's supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables. Right? The racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, Islamophobic, you name it. And unfortunately, there are people like that. And he has lifted them up.
Switching gears now back here on the Gulf Coast, it is the Navy's ship now. The USS Montgomery was commissioned this morning in the blazing heat at the Mobile State Docks. News 5's Chad Petrie brings us the sights and sounds of the ceremony.
A celebration for a ship this big starts with a bang and has all the bells and whistles befitting the U.S. Navy.
Officer of the deck, set the first watch.
Aye, aye, sir.
Commission ceremonies draw to a close with these traditional words.
Officers and crew of the USS Montgomery, man our ship and bring her to life.
I want to give you a great, great, great Montgomery hug. Thank you.
The ceremony happening on the same weekend America pauses to remember the worst terror attack in U.S. history.
And this ship
will stand as an example to the world, the might and the strength and the resolve of the United States of America to not let 9/11 stand.
So this line behind me, that's just the line of people that are waiting to get on this ship to get tours, and it kind of shows you the turnout and the excitement for a ship named after the state's capital city.
The top speed of these ships is classified. I can't tell you how fast they go. But in South Alabama parlance, I can make you understand. They go real fast.
Ladies and gentlemen, the crew of USS Montgomery salutes you.
Just one more in the line. In Mobile, Chad Petrie, News 5.
The USS Montgomery is the eighth littoral combat ship ever built. It is the 4th manufactured by Austal and the 2nd named for a capital city. And before the grand ceremony took place today, News 5 had a chance to take a tour. Take a look. It's one of the Navy's most technically advanced ships. Check out the bridge of the ship. Controlled by joysticks, the LCS can be steered by just 3 people. Main drawing card for the ship is flexibility. It can handle multiple missions through multiple configurations. From the large flight deck to the large storage bay, the LCS can be used in lots of different ways.
With the size of this flight deck, I can take on something the size of a V-22 Osprey. I can take on something the size of a a 53 Sea Stallion, or multiple Blackhawks. We call them SH-60s in the Navy. But I mean, all those air platforms can land on this ship.
Still, the commander is conscious of recent mechanical issues. The USS Coronado broke down during its first deployment in the Pacific. In fact, over the last year, 4 of the Navy's littoral combat ships have been taken out of commission due to mechanical issues. Back in July, the USS Freedom had seawater leak into one of its main diesel propulsion systems. The problem was discovered during what's called a shock trial, which tests the durability of the ship. Take a look at this. This is dramatic video released just yesterday by the Navy. Here you can see the USS Jackson going through the shock trials. A 10,000-pound charge is detonated underwater in close proximity to the ship in each test. 2 other ships taken out of commission were older ships, all built at the facility in Wisconsin. But the most recent ship to have problems was the USS Coronado that was built here at Austal, USA, which suffered an engineering casualty en route to Singapore. It will return to Pearl Harbor to assess the damage. Well, is it me, or has it been really sticky outside today? We turn now to our first look at weather. Hey there, Thomas.
Hey, Ashley. Yeah, I mean, just the humidity, it's been going up, and it's only going to go up over the next couple of days. You would think we're in the second week of college football season. We're moving into mid-September, and yet it feels like we're more so in July. We saw a few showers around earlier today. We saw a few earlier this morning, mainly along the coast, but at this moment in time, well, things are relatively nice and quiet. So a current live look at this radar, everything nice and quiet. We will keep a very slim chance of a shower as we head to this evening, but still mostly cloudy skies, but everything not too bad. Temperatures, well, they're still mild, they're still muggy. It's sitting at 84 degrees in the heat index, still temperatures into the lower 90s. So if you are headed out tonight, make sure that you dress appropriately. But as we move through the rest of the daytime hours, maybe one stray shower, but nice and quiet this evening. Temperatures falling through the 80s and then into the upper 70s. But rain chances will see a slight bump over the next couple of days. I'll explain coming up in the forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, coming up, the jury has made their decision in the trial of Hiawatha Robinson, but the guilty verdict brings mixed feelings to those closest to the case. Their reactions just ahead.
By 4 a.m., I've already looked at the charts, the radar, the satellite images, the computer models. I want you to have the best forecast possible when you turn on News 5. Another great day, a grade A forecast. From your drive to work and school to whatever the weather will be when you get home, I know you count on me for an accurate forecast, and I take that seriously. Why? Because mornings matter to you.
Spring Hill Toyota is your low-price leader. Shop our huge selection of pre-owned and certified vehicles, Toyotas, Nissans, Hondas, and more. All clearly priced at SpringHillToyota.com. Quick, out-the-door pricing and hassle-free shopping. Visit SpringHillToyota.com today.
I'm Kevin James. Take a look at my new CBS comedy, Kevin Can Wait.
The star of one of TV's funniest comedies, Kevin James, is back on CBS.
I got you a little retirement.
It's the bowl that won't spill. Let's test this baby out. Give me a scenario where I might spill it.
You're on a fishing boat, having a snack.
Look at that.
And then a huge wave smashes into you.
Oh, nothing! Nothing!
Now you give me a scenario.
Okay, now you are a prostitute. I'm sorry, I don't even know where that came from.
Kevin Can Wait premieres Monday, September 19th.
Hank's Labor Day sale means employee discounts for everyone, like this regular $800 premium pillow top queen set with employee discount $4.99.
Plus, add a regular $700 deluxe adjustable base for only $388. And employee discounts are store-wide with savings of 25% or more.
Employee discounts for everyone. Remember, sale ends Sunday at Hank's Fine Furniture.
Listen. That's a sound reserved for a select few. Because life doesn't just give out Pulitzers or championships. Greatness takes work, grit, perseverance. And this is only the beginning. The University of Alabama, where legends are made.
Discover a better way to buy with the Spring Hill Advantage. Shop one of the best selections of new Toyotas and pre-owned vehicles in the state. And get your trade-in value and out-the-door pricing in 30 minutes or less without the hassles. Click SpringHillToyota.com.
Supergirl is soaring to the CW.
Really?
Catch the entire first season with back-to-back episodes on Mondays.
I love it.
Supergirl. Mondays at 7 on the CW 55.
Welcome back. Yesterday, a single vehicle crash claimed the life of a Bruton man. Darius Tolbert, who was 18, was a passenger in a 2004 Dodge Durango. He was killed when it left the roadway and overturned. The crash happened a little before 6 last night on I-65 near the 32-mile marker. That's just 5 miles north of Bay Minette. Tolbert was not wearing a seatbelt. He was transported to a local hospital where he later died. The driver and 3 other passengers survived the crash. They were transported to area hospitals with injuries. Alabama state troopers continue to investigate. A Mississippi police chief killed himself Thursday. Chief Mike DiNardo of Bay St. Louis took his own life after learning he was under investigation. The allegations include payroll fraud and an illegal sale of city-owned firearms, including an assault rifle. Hancock County Sheriff Ricky Adams said a multi-point investigation had been going on for 4 months. DiNardo found out about the investigation Thursday at City Police Headquarters. He was suspended from his duties by city officials and his equipment was confiscated.
We were here to assist the City of Bay St. Louis and their mayor to escort Chief DiNardo from the office and obtain his city-issued equipment. And at that time, it just kind of went bad, I guess,
DiNardo died of a self-inflicted gunshot. The police chief left 3 apology letters to the sheriff, the mayor, and 1 other unspecified person for the payroll fraud. Those were turned over to the FBI. Inmates at Home and Prison in Atmore held a peaceful protest yesterday with a work stoppage. The Department of Corrections says the 10 inmates did not report to the kitchen to prepare morning meals on Friday. Later that evening, 35 more inmates assigned to produce license plates did not report to work. The inmates participating in the work stoppage have made no demands and are otherwise cooperative. Days after a jury found Hiawatha Robinson guilty of murdering his 8-year-old daughter, Hawaii, the people who live closest to the tragedy have mixed feelings about the trial. News 5's Emily DeVoe reports from Pritchard.
This really was a tragedy that shook the community of Pritchard to its core. 2 years later, I'm standing in the exact spot where Hawaii's body was found. The only reminder now is a white tattered cross, and everything around it has become overgrown and abandoned. But the memory is still fresh in everyone's minds, especially with the outcome of this week's trial. The people who live closest to the crime scene are perhaps the most conflicted, many not sure whether to celebrate the guilty verdict or question it.
Conflicted, that's a good word. I never thought he did it. And to me, it was just a lot of circumstantial evidence, but I don't know. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know whether he was guilty or innocent.
Kind of mixed up on it. Sometimes it looks like he's guilty and sometimes it does not. It kind of leaves me wondering. And I worry about them not having the evidence of things which one time they said that they had.
Because Hiawatha has been found guilty of felony murder, the judge plans to hand down a sentence in October, and his defense attorney already says they plan to appeal as soon as that happens. In Pritchard, Emily DeVoe, News 5.
Now, you may remember there was talk of converting the crime scene into a park honoring Hawaii Robinson, but nothing ever came of it. Tonight at 10, News 5's Emily DeVoe takes a closer look at some of the big plans that are just around the corner to transform that area. Coming up, hundreds of runners headed to Dauphin Island to participate in a race that was started 35 years ago for a cause many remember today.
And today is the climatological peak of hurricane season. We'll explain what it means coming up after the break.
The CW55 News at 9 is your new choice for news in Pensacola. We cover all of Northwest Florida. We're covering the big stories, so tune in weeknights at 9 p.m.
Attention homeowners, with this extreme heat, your air conditioning system is working hard every day. If it suddenly stops, call ARS to the rescue. For a limited time, we'll waive our service call fee with any repair. That's huge savings. Visit arsfortwalton.com.
We started with the class-leading RX. Then we gave it an available 12.3-inch multimedia display to see around the curve. And bold styling and dynamic performance to stay ahead of the curve. The Lexus RX, RX Hybrid, and RX F-Sport. This is the RX, elevated. Lease the 2016 RX 350 for $419 a month for 36 months. See your Lexus dealer.
Is your air conditioner not keeping your home and family cool during these hot summer months? If so, call ARS Rescue Router. We're offering select heating and cooling systems at a low monthly cost of only $83 with approved credit. For details and to schedule your free estimate, visit arsfortwalton.com.
Don't be without the WKRG News 5 app. Get news, traffic, and weather on your tablet or smartphone. Just go to the App Store or Google Play and type in WKRG.
I'm a coupon guy. I signed up for the Publix digital ones. I clipped the paper ones. In fact, if there was a third kind, I'd probably love those too. That's how I save at Publix. How about you?
Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Okay, so here are 2 cans of vegetables. This one I paid for. This one was free, because they're BOGO. Maybe this one was free. Either way, that's how I save at Publix. How about you?
Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Visit budgetbreaks.com for locations and coupons.
Welcome back. Well, after Labor Day, it gets a bit harder to get people to the beach, but Dauphin Island managed to do that today despite a few rain showers. A 5K race held by the Port City Pacers brought runners of all ages to the island. Most of the race was finished before the heavy rain came in. More than 400 runners participated.
This is the 35th running of the Hurricane Run, and it started back when Hurricane Frederick came through like 35 years ago, and it was to raise money for that hurricane in the Dauphin Island area, and we've been doing it ever since then.
Hurricane Frederick destroyed much of the island when it made landfall 35 years ago. Money from today's race went to the Dauphin Island Fire Department and the Sea Lab. The Alabama Gulf Coast Junior Council of Make-A-Wish Alabama hosted a pub crawl through the downtown streets of Mobile today. The event kicked off at Wenzel's Oyster House. Crawlers made their way to O'Daly's, Moe's Barbecue, the bike shop, and the garage. Money raised at the crawl will be given to children with life-threatening medical conditions in South Alabama.
Well, right now we've got 33 kids waiting on a wish in the Alabama Gulf Coast region, and so it's really important that the community knows what's going on and knows that we've got kids in this area who are waiting on a wish, so that we can all, rally together and support kids here in the Mobile community.
Very important. It was a fun-filled day with door prizes, drink specials, bar games, and live music, all for a good cause.
Now, Thomas Skiboy with your first alert weather.
Well, we have seen a few showers across our stretch of the Gulf Coast today, but today's significance is September 10th. It is the climatological peak of hurricane season. Now, what does that usually mean? A lot of people are thinking we're moving towards fall, we're moving away from the hot summer months. That means we're moving away from hurricane season. That's not the case. So as we go throughout this graph, notice as we make our way towards September 10th, that's when we see that peak, and then you do notice that it does indeed go back down. But notice there's one little rise that you see there in the basically right in the middle of October. So today being the peak, that means hurricane season is halfway over. It's not over, so we still have to be very conscious of what is going on in the tropics. And we have seen storms all the way that have gone into November. The latest landfalling major hurricane to hit the United States was Hurricane Kate back in 1985 in middle of November. So we're not done with hurricane season just yet. So do stay tuned. However, as we look at the tropical satellite right now, there's really not that much going on. No named systems in the tropical Atlantic at this moment in time. We are tracking 3 tropical waves. However, we're not expecting any development with these 2 tropical waves that you see closest to the U.S. So they're highlighted in green there to show the low characteristics of probability of formation. So we're not worried about those. Nothing poses a threat to the United States. We will be watching them, but there is one tropical wave in the central Atlantic that does have a high chance of formation here within the next 48 hours. And if it were to form, it looks like it would move into the central portions of the Atlantic. No worrying for us along the Gulf Coast. Back closer to home, seeing a little bit more cloud coverage today than what we have seen over the past couple of days. Those cumulus clouds kind of firing off 1 or 2 light showers. We did see a couple showers along the coast first thing this morning, but as we've gone throughout the day, showers only lasting maybe 30 to 45 minutes or so. So looking at the radar right along the coast, really not much going on. We did see 1 shower in northern Mobile County, lasted all of 30 minutes, but as we go throughout this evening, if we do see any showers fire off, won't really last overall that long. So won't really need the umbrella this evening. So as we take you through your forecast, we will keep the clouds around tonight. But once we get past sunset, everything turns relatively quiet. Maybe a few areas of patchy fog first thing in the morning. We keep the southerly flow well in place first thing tomorrow morning, just like this morning, maybe a couple little light showers around. But as we make our way throughout the day on your Sunday, we will see that sea breeze get going. So right around lunchtime, so noon, maybe not that much shower activity, but notice once we transition into later on in the afternoon, we'll see a good mixture of clouds, and also we'll see those showers around as well. So we're going with about a 30% chance of rain for your Sunday. But if you're headed home to the drive home forecast for tonight, so this is this evening, lower 80s, humid tonight, less than a 10% chance of rain, so not looking too bad. If you're going to head to the beach for your Sunday, not a bad day. Low chance for rip current if you can avoid the rain. Just have a way to stay informed on the radar. You can download the WKRG News 5 free weather app. There's a radar on that so you can track any showers that are around. We'll start off with the northeast wind, switch to the southeast later on at 10 miles per hour, and that water temperature is sitting at 85 degrees. The offshore forecast for tomorrow, looking pretty good as well. The scattered thunderstorms will be out there, starting with the north wind, like I said. Moving out of the southeast later on, 5 to 10 knots, 1 foot seas, and light chop in the bays. Really not too bad for a boating forecast. As for tonight, temperatures dipping into the lower 70s, a few spots into the upper 60s, mainly inland. As for tomorrow, highs into the lower 90s. Going to feel more like a mid-summertime day. So 91 for tomorrow, 30% chance of rain takes us throughout the next few days. We'll bump it down to 20% as we head into midweek, but we're sticking with the lower 90s for the foreseeable future.
All right, thanks, Thomas. The 1065 Music Festival is set for the end of this month, but organizers are asking for your help. 1065 and the Alabama Coastal Foundation Eco Team are partnering up. They want to recycle as many materials as possible this year at the event, and volunteers are needed for that. You can volunteer by registering on the Alabama Coastal Foundation's website at joinacf.org. 1065's goal is to offer a clean festival experience with the help of Eco Team recycling volunteers like you. And coming up, South Alabama looking to get another win tonight over the Georgia Southern Eagles. Stay tuned.
Family Feud, weekdays at 4 on WKRG News 5.
At Papa Murphy's, love means using only blocks of 100% whole milk mozzarella. Because just like real love, real cheese is better. Share the love with a large one-topping pizza, just $7 when you order online at papamurphys.com.
At AT&T, we believe in access, the opportunity for everyone to explore a digital world full of possibilities, connecting with family, friends, and the things that matter most. And because nothing keeps us more connected than the internet, we've created Access from AT&T. If a member of your household is a SNAP participant, you may qualify for home internet at a discounted rate of $10 a month. No commitment, deposit, or installation fee. Visit att.com/access now to learn more.
Yes, I'm a smoker. And yes, I'm aware I should quit. I get pressure from everyone I love and everything around me.
Smoking is really, really bad for you.
Yet sometimes that pressure alone is enough to make me want to light up.
Quit your way with Tobacco-Free Florida. With free patches, text messaging, emails, phone, group, and web coaching. Call or visit tobaccofreeflorida.com.
There's nothing more important than your health.
But it's not always easy to find the answers you seek.
News 5 has partnered with leading health professionals to bring you a medical resource you can trust.
Just go to WKRG.com and click on Health Connections.
Hi, I'm Dr. Amy Morris.
And I'm Dr. Dina Howell.
And here at the Center for Dermatology, our mission is to educate patients, prevent disease, and comfort individuals.
The Center for Dermatology, a WKRG Health Connections partner.
Are your dentures made by your dentist? At Baldwin Denture Center, they are. Our on-site lab allows Dr. Hansen and his staff to be involved through every step of making your dentures, providing you quality same-day denture services at prices you can afford. For fast, affordable care, call Baldwin Denture Center.
Introducing Longhorn's Great American Steak Dinner for $12.99. Perfectly seasoned sirloin with your choice of side, plus an appetizer. Or a dessert. Only at Longhorn Steakhouse. You can't fake steak.
At Mattress Firm, we don't just say you'll sleep happy, we guarantee it. It's happiness you feel when you lie down on a Tempur-Pedic mattress.
Somehow it adapts to both of us. It is perfect.
At Mattress Firm, our professional sleep experts will help you choose a Tempur-Pedic from our large in-stock selection. Right now, save up to $300 instantly. Plus, receive up to $200 via rebate by mail on select Tempur-Pedic adjustable mattress sets. And get 0% APR for 5 years. Sleep happy with Mattress Firm.
Now, News 5 Sports.
South Alabama is a 13-point underdog today at home against Georgia Southern, but the Jags are fresh off a 21-20 upset of Mississippi State in the season opener. The South Alabama players are expecting a huge crowd tonight at Lad People Stadium, and I think the fans there are ready to see another South victory.
It makes everything more exciting because it makes our season just so much greater that we can accomplish so much. And we can do so much better, and it's like we can play against teams like this, and it's like we're gonna win.
Now this is the Sun Belt Conference opener for both teams. The game is in the first quarter with about 4 minutes left. The score is now tied at 3. Definitely it'll be a good game. Both teams are looking for their second win. Tune in for the final stats and plays tonight on News 5 at 10 o'clock. And just like the Jags, the Alabama Crimson Tide had a huge 52-6 win last weekend over the USC Trojans. Their home opener of the season kicked off today at Bryant-Denny Stadium around 2:30 against the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. The game started off like a typical Tide game would. The Tide quickly acted after the Hilltoppers' field goal, and it was clear sailing ever since. Heading into this game, head coach Nick Saban made it clear he didn't want his team to take the Hilltoppers lightly, since they did make it to a bowl game last season. The Hilltoppers scored a touchdown with just minutes left in the game. Crimson Tide ultimately pulled off a victory with a 38-10 win. And coming off a tough loss last week against the Tigers of Clemson, the Auburn Tigers are looking to bounce back in their game tonight versus Arkansas State. The game kicked off moments ago in Jordan-Hare Stadium, and Auburn freshman tight end Landon Rice did not board the team bus to Montgomery Friday night, which is protocol the night before a home game. When asked why the freshman tight end didn't participate in the season opening last weekend, head coach Gus Malzahn only praised Jalen Harris's efforts at tight end. Neither team has scored in this first quarter. All right, looking now at weather. How are we looking for the rest of the evening, the rest of the weekend?
Looking good. If anyone's heading out this evening, looking good. Lower 80s as we go throughout this evening. Hopefully South Alabama picks up another win since they were a 28-point underdog last week. This week, 13-point. Hopefully that means that they'll smoke them tonight. So hopefully the Jaguars doing well on the bandwagon as we go throughout the rest of the season. Just 10% chance of rain, lower than a 10% chance of rain. So keep the rain gear maybe in the trunk of your car just in case. But as we make our way through Sunday into Tuesday, 30% chance of rain, back down to 20%. But highs in the low 90s, really not going away anytime soon. It's going to be pretty warm out there.
All right, so keep the umbrella handy. Thanks so much. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you back here at 10.